National Filter Service. It's a company I started 29 years ago, and
I have so many questions right now.
It was just a great
Kind
experience.
of a staple of our region for quite a while.
I think they might get like 10,000 runners.
And they embraced me, and for probably 3 hours, we all just sat around and had a great time. Did you say happily married or halfway married?
Happily.
We're either servicing in or driving through virtually every town that you could have a technician.
Life revolves around our kids, sports, work.
In all the traveling I've done in business, I've never been to Little Rock nor ever thought of a reason to be in Little Rock.
So we're architects, we're engineers, we're contractors, and we develop commercial real estate.
Clean heating, air, and refrigeration coils, and change water filters for some national. And I found myself just going, how is it possible that I find myself in this family event? That's the direction we're heading in now.
I don't know. I know there's beer at the end of it.
I don't know if you're all Godfather fans, but in The Godfather 3, he's standing in his kitchen. He says, every time I try to get out, they pull me back in.
I don't know what I was thinking.
And what is that?
Professionally, I'm in investor relations with a commercial real estate developer.
I've been involved we started a girls softball program when my daughter, who's now 29, she was, I think 4.
So, Chris, you're saying you were working at home before it was the cool thing to do?
Yeah. That's exactly right.
Yeah. I love those questions, Mike. But I want to back you up. I want to know what started you down the path of being in this business to begin with.
I knew I was going to be self-employed, and I was pretty entrepreneurial. So I worked for a little heating and air company there, and one day, a slow day in the shop, I was just a duck man, and they sent me up on a roof with a service tech to hand him tools. Walked up to the unit, and there was ice coming out of one of the panels. The guy said, I'll tell you before we take that panel off, I'll bet they haven't changed your filters. And we sat up there for a couple hours while I thawed out and turned the unit back on, put new filters in it. And when the owner was signing the ticket, I just said, I wasn't thinking about a business. I just said, gosh, for what you just paid us, you could probably had somebody change your filters every month and wouldn't have had the issues you had. And he said, well, I got 8 stores. When can you start? And I said, well, couldn't start a business off 8 stores. He said, my brother has 29 over towards Roanoke. When can you start? And went home and discussed it with my wife, and we pretty much decided we were already about as poor as we could get, so it couldn't hurt so much if it didn't work. And I started the business. And 2 years into it, I contacted some KFCs. Ended up, it was the corporate facilities manager for this region of KFC, and he had 330 locations. And I said, well, we can take 160 from Maryland, Alabama. And it was just me. There was no we. And he said, no, I meant, I thought you'd want the 160 in the Baltimore, Washington region. I got 330 down through Alabama. And I said, oh, we can take 330, and it's just, and great guy that's still a great friend all these years later, and took a chance on me. And then, he told Taco Bell, and Taco Bell told Pizza Hut, and that just kind of grew us.
Wow. What a great story.
It's been, good Lord's blessed me. It's been a good ride.
Right. So Chris is the kind of guy that said, hey, I don't know you, never met you before, but you're more than welcome to jump on with my team and be in the booth, and I'd personally walk you around and introduce you to a lot of the key people.
I think it was the second night we were there.
It was a true testament to the kind of guy he is and how he runs his business, and we've developed a friendship from that one gesture, and the story plays on.
Arabic Christians, I think, is the way they called it in Israel, which of course is such an interesting melting pot of.
Tell me about a business transaction that you had going on, and you mentioned, it was 2 days before I went to Israel.
Neat basement type restaurant, beautiful, in a building that's like 800 years old. Got talking to these guys at the little outdoor bar part of it, and we're having a good time talking about where we're from. And they pull out a hookah, which I've never done before, and I've always thought, I'd like to give that a try. So they pulled that out, and that's their friendship way of doing things. First thing you know, more families there, and it's about 9 o'clock at night, and they say they're closing up because it's the the grandmother's birthday. She turned 88.
And their personal story, or a story associated with their personal life.
And yeah, all right, well, let them close out my bill and all this. And they said, no, you must join us. You must join us.
So I got to ask you, Chris, the quote that you just said, is that yours, or is this?
They bring me in, and they had a seat ready beside the grandmother. And so there must have been 30, 35 people around this giant table.
The story of their business and what brought them there.
And not being an educated guy, my only education is the business I've been in.
I enjoyed the conversation. I learned something, or a few things, and really appreciate it. So.
Well, thank you. Thanks for having me. And Mike, great to meet you.
You're a gentleman. You can just tell virtually that you're the real deal. So I really enjoyed my time with you.
Awesome. Same to you. Thank you so much.